Welcome back to Dial Twang. I'm Dave. Get my mic sorted out here a little bit. All right, we've got a little rocker here today. It's a 3-chord rocker. It's D. Kind of a quick move down to the C, 2 doors down, and then down to G. Okay, a D Mixolydian type thing. You could almost treat this as a the D and the G are the key things. You can play some triad stuff. I'm going to show you. It's kind of cool if you can kind of hit that on your way down to the G and just really emphasize that. The bass and the rhythm guitar on the backing track are doing that already, but it's kind of cool to lock all that together on a rocker like this, right? You're just going to keep it simple. So in addition to a little bit of talking about the rhythm, showing you a couple of little things there, we're going to, I'm just going to show you like kind of a program, a little roadmap, just to play an old school rock and roll solo over something like this. And this progression shows up all the time in all sorts of tunes. There's like a lot of 60s tunes that have those chords. There's some early Dead songs. There's one or two that really use almost this riff, and I don't know, I can't remember the names of them right off the top of my head. They're probably in different keys on different parts of the neck and stuff, but this is just a good good nuts and bolts rock progression, So this isn't gonna be a theory lesson. We're just gonna have some fun. Let me put this back on for a second. Just listen to that for a second. Wait till that comes around again. I'll show you that, then I'll slow it down. All right. That's just a go-to old Chuck Berry type thing. I'm sliding into it a little bit, but basically it's those two. I guess except for the little hammers and like that last note, there's always 2 notes playing, so it's chunky, right? And it's kind of the same routine twice, just once it goes up and once it goes down. Let me just slow it down for you. There's that other little up chuck in there, right? Sorry, I missed that last note. So, I'm going to do it a couple more times. Slow down and listen. If you're looking at it, you're like, oh, God, wait a minute. That's good. You can, it's good to use your sight if you're using your sight. But also, just listen to it. Okay, and you can just kind of fit that in all over this progression, really, but certainly I do it right at the... Okay, that next little move is a G triad. Didn't really play anything for the C there, right? Like I mentioned earlier, it goes by so quick. You don't have to jump over and do something just for the C each time, right? So I go. Now that's a G triad. It's like that C caged shape, but I'm kind of truncating it to just those 3. And when it goes back to the D, kind of already have that set up. You can do it like that, but you can also kind of already have that barred back there. That's tricky at first if you're just getting used to those kinds of, chords where you are barring something and moving two fingers like that, but they're very useful. So we don't have to go through this whole thing note for note, but, I'm just going to show you kind of the routine I did there in that intro. And we'll break it down. Okay. So rather than go note for note and, get too tedious about it and wear everybody out, here's the nuts and bolts of that. So, it's like D major pentatonic. So, you could do it. I just like that melody. You could do it right down there and stay right in that little position. I'd probably go down to that note for that part. Now, see, that's out of my kind of natural zone right there, right? So I started kind of, I played a couple of wrong notes, but I would prefer to do that here because I just always like to bend. I always like to have that. It's working off of that form of the major triad for major pentatonic. So even if I need a melody note that's not right there, I'm going to go down. I'll just go ahead and make a position change like that. But it's a good example of how there's three ways there to do that. Now this right here is over the G, so it's. That time we are addressing the passing C chord, right? Because we're playing that root C. Then when it gets to that G, that's just a good lick. I'll just keep it simple. I'll show you. You can just move around with just that routine. You see, now that started sounding a little more and looking perhaps a little more elaborate. Wasn't a whole lot more going on there than that what I just. Just went, out further on the tails and did a little bit more embellishment and things with that major pentatonic for D. And at one point in that intro, and I did it here just a second ago too, it actually goes to more of a minor pentatonic for D when I just get up there and just kind of hanging out on that. That sounds kind of cool. And then just back to our. Every time it goes to the G, I'm just playing that kind of G triad, almost like you're part of that bar chord. Maybe going up to that note there. It's actually the sixth. Okay, so here's a little routine, without doing it up to speed. Okay. I had to, kind of think about that a little bit more if I don't have the chords behind me and stuff, right? I had to fish around a little bit. But that's what you can do too, right? You're listening, you see how you could tell where the chord changes were there, even though there was no backing track. And you can go off to the side and slow that down and kind of go chord by chord. Now I want to show you one more little thing. I don't feel like I gave you a good enough example of going to that minor pentatonic, but you can kind of put it in anywhere there around that D. So let's say. Over the G as well, you can really just play in D minor pentatonic, for a few bars, and then kind of go back to that other routine. A lot of demonstration there today. Not a lot of talk about what note I'm on all the time and everything, but hopefully you can just pick up bits and pieces of that, and make your own routine and just kind of veg out on that, and really get into the repetitive feel of it, and once you get comfortable with it, really let yourself go with switching back and forth from major pentatonic, D major, and D minor pentatonic. And, don't be afraid to, I don't like to just, rip off a lot of licks and stuff that I'm not really giving you a fair explanation for. But, don't be afraid to just get in there and kind of grind out that. Just whatever blues stuff that you got with that minor pentatonic stuff that you've been working on, it'll work over this piece. So, the idea I showed you was just one routine, one approach to a couple times around a solo that had kind of a feeling of a beginning, a middle, and an end. But, I know a lot of you are going to be able to apply your style and your, battery of licks over that progression. And if you're able to, make a video of yourself playing over some of these backing tracks and post them. We've had a few like that lately, and it's really fun. Everybody really enjoys that. I do. I love it when I turn it on, and it's just a kind of a cool connection, because I've played over that track. I mean, I make the tracks, but then I hear somebody else playing over. I'm like, yeah, that's it. That's working. So let me know how this goes for you. Appreciate all your support and participation. See you next time.